Hello everyone, and a very good afternoon to all of you. Today we have a new problem which is implement queues using stacks. LeetCode 232 problem. Let's read the problem statement. Implement a first in first out queue using only two stacks. The implemented queue should support all the functions of a normal queue. It means we have to implement a queue using stacks. We have to use the stacks for implementing purpose of queue. So the normal function of queue is push, pop, peek, and empty function. So implement the myQ class. So firstly we have to make a myQ class, and in myQ class we have to create a push function and pop function, peek function, and boolean empty function by using stacks. So here's the note, you must use only standard operation of stack, which means push to pop, peek or pop from top, size is empty operation are valid. Okay, depending on your language, and stack may not be supported natively, you may stimulate a stack using the list and DQ. Okay, so let's directly see the example part. So here's the my queue function. So it's initially queue is empty. Okay, now we have to push one element, means we have to push that element. So now now my queue has a element that is 1. Now we have to push to a second element, then it will be 1 comma 2. Now we have to find the peak element. So the peak element of the queue will be 1. So 1 will be the peak element of the queue. Now we have to pop that element. So which element should be popped? So this first one will be popped because the in a stack what we will do is we will push the element from the top, but in queue what we will do, we will push the element, means it means like first in first out, इस पहले जो element जाएगा वो पहले वो निकलेगा. So if I want to pop that element, so one will be popped, and my stack has my queue has two elements. So okay, now we have to check if this is empty or not. My queue is empty or not. So initially return false because queue has one element. So it will be false. So it's like that. Let's see the approach for this. If uh, if I want to push a element which is true, okay, so firstly what I will do is I will create two stacks which is s1 and s2, and firstly I will push that element in stack 1, so it will be 2 initially. Okay, and the front element of q will be 2. Okay, done. Now I want to push the element of 6, so the sixth element will be go on s1. So now s1 will be 2 comma 6, and the front element of the queue will be all remain 2. Okay, now I want to push the element 8. Now my stack will be 2 6 8. I am pushing the element in the first queue, first stack also, so it will be 2 6 8. Now my scenario is this. Now what I will do is if I want to pop element, okay, here is the perfect, द क्यू में एलिमेंट कौन कौन से 2 6 8 पड़े. और अब मेरे को क्या करना है कि अब मैं पॉप करना चाहता हूँ, तो पहले मेरे को क्या करना पड़ेगा, इसको S1 के जो भी एलिमेंट्स है उसको S2 में डालना पड़ेगा. नाउ S2 विल बी लाइक 2 6 8, एंड इस क्यू के जो अंदर पड़े हुए एलिमेंट हैं वो भी 2 6 8 है. ठीक है, अब मैं 7 को भी पुश करना चाहता हूँ, तो 7 कहाँ पे इनिशियली तो S1 में पुश होगा. सो नाउ S1 विल बी लाइक 7, only 7 element, only one element will be there. Okay, और S2 में कौन कौन से एलिमेंट पड़े होंगे 2 6 8, but my top will be remain same, means top element is 2 and which is equals to q front, q का front. ठीक है, now I want to pop that element. So if I want to pop a element from the queue, then front element will go. So front element is 2, so 2 will go, which is also equals to the s2 dot top element of the s2. So my s2 will be 6 8. Now again I want to pop the element, so 6 will be popped. So now my q will be 8 7, and the s2 will be 8, and s1 will be 7. Okay, now again I want to pop the element, so it will be empty. S2 will be empty. Now in this case what I will do is if my S2 will be empty, will empty. So I have to copy the elements of the S1 in S2. So S1 के elements को basically S2 में पटकना है, ठीक है। तो S1 के एलिमेंट को S2 में डाल देंगे तो यहाँ पे 7 बच जाएगा और सेम प्रोसेस वैसे ही चलेगी अभी जो कर रहे थे, ठीक है। सो नाउ लेट्स do the code for this. So firstly what I will do is I have to create two stacks, stack int S1 comma S2. Now in void push function, what I will do is I will push the element of I will push the element directly in S1. So S1 dot push of x जो भी element होगा directly we will push that element in S1. Okay. Now in pop function, what I will do is S2 dot top will be my popped element. So what I will do is I will initialize the element in the top element, which is also equals to by peak. And now what I will do, I will pop that element from the S2. So S2 dot pop, because the top element of the S2 is my peak element. So S2 dot top, S2 dot pop, sorry, and finally I will return that top element. So this will be my pop function. Now I have to create the peak function. So in peak function, what I will do is I will check if S2 dot empty. अगर मेरा S2 empty हो जाता है, now in this condition what I will do, I will create a loop while not of S1 dot empty, not of S1 dot empty. जब तक S1 empty नहीं होता S1 के सारे एलिमेंट्स को उठा के S2 में पटक देना है। तो कैसे करेंगे इसको, S2 डॉट पुश ऑफ S1 डॉट टॉप and S1 dot pop. This is done. So this part we have done. Now finally we have to return the top element. So S2 dot top. In bool empty function, how we can use this function bool empty. So we will check, we will directly return if like here return S1 dot empty and then S2 dot empty. So what this line is saying that if S1 and S2 दोनों empty हो जाते हैं तो हम return कर देंगे false, otherwise we will return true. So it means actually if S1 and S2 दोनों empty हो जाते हैं तो true mark करेंगे, otherwise we will return false. So let's run this and see if this will work or not. It is working perfect. Let's submit this code. As you can see, it is working perfect. Beats 100% of C++ users. So now let's discuss about time and space complexity for the solution. So as you can see, we are taking only uh, two external spaces, like we are creating a stack 1 and stack 2, that is necessary. So it's not like that, but the time complexity case, we are pushing the element directly, so for pushing purpose the time complexity will be big of 1, but for popping purpose the time complexity will be big of n, big of basically big of 2 into n, which is approx equals to big of n, and same as equals to peak. So peak की भी टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी बिग ऑफ एन होगी, बाय बिकॉज पॉप करने के लिए हमें जब एस टू एम टी हो जाता है तो एस वन के सारे एलिमेंट्स को एस टू में डालना पड़ रहा है, दैट्स वाई एक बॉस्ट केस के लिए उसकी टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी बिग ऑफ एन हो जाएगी, अदरवाइज बिग ऑफ वन भी कह सकते हो, पर बॉस्ट केस में बिग ऑफ एन. So this was a complete solution. If you find this helpful, then please like, share and subscribe.